I'm exhausted. I am physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausted after the 3 days that I've had. So much so that I've actually had to take a break because there was no way that I could have reviewed the 2 shows and given you guys the rewind a day after the incredible amount of wrestling that we were witness to on August the 31st to cap off the final month of summer. We are here on September 2nd, Labor Day. I just got finished commentating for the WrestleMania event in Rutherford, New Jersey, in front of Mason's Cellar on Ames Avenue. Holy shit, was that a fucking great show in its own right. As far as TakeOver Cardiff goes, I still don't know what to say. To be quite honest with you, I've been pondering for 2 days, and I still don't know what to say. I'm still at a loss for words as to what we've seen in the afternoon, and then on top of that, what we saw that evening with All Elite Wrestling's All Out. I want to let you guys know that Triple H is not playing around. Triple H is not playing around. This war between All Elite Wrestling and WWE, it has only just begun. It has only just begun. After everything that we have seen at TakeOver Cardiff and then All Out to follow it, it's clear as day, and I don't care what anyone says, the WWE organized NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff on August 31st to combat All Out. And that is a stone cold fact. No matter what you want to believe, no matter what anyone wants to report, it is not because of Royal Quest. Royal Quest has nothing to do with TakeOver Cardiff being scheduled on August the 31st. It is all influenced by the fear of All Elite Wrestling. New Japan Pro Wrestling, I've stated before, don't even have a dent in the Western market. So why would WWE put TakeOver Cardiff on August 31st to combat New Japan Pro Wrestling's Royal Quest if New Japan Pro Wrestling doesn't even pose a threat to WWE? Do they even care about New Japan, even when it was at its peak a couple years back? Of course not. What we saw at Cardiff was Triple H putting his best foot forward and telling you guys that he is going to do anything in his power to make sure that NXT, especially when it moves to Wednesdays on the USA Network at prime time, he's going to do anything in his power to make sure NXT is the top brand in professional wrestling in 2019. This right here is the most exciting time to be a wrestling fan ever since the days of the Attitude Era. 2 decades we had to wait for pro wrestling to be considered cool again. Look at what we saw at Cardiff. NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff leaps and bounds blew away TakeOver Blackpool within the first hour and a half. Within the first hour and a half, already better than Blackpool. Don't get me wrong, TakeOver Blackpool was very good, but NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff, I think we can all collectively say that NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff could very well go down as one of, if not the best show that WWE has produced in 2019, depending on who you talk to. I am still having trouble myself rating TakeOver New York or UK TakeOver Cardiff as the number one show for WWE all year. It's going to be very tough for me. I still don't think I'm going to have my mindset until the year ends. That's how good TakeOver Cardiff was. A lot of people were sleeping on this show, and a lot of people have slept on the brand. No more. Sleep on NXT and NXT UK. No more. Triple H proved to you that when NXT hits prime time on the USA Network on Wednesdays, NXT UK is going to be a huge staple in NXT, especially with the report that came out. You already got Dunn in there. You had Ripley, who made her debut. After UK TakeOver Cardiff, we could very well see a lot more people start to migrate over to the US for NXT on prime time on Wednesdays. I'm trying to keep my cool and not sound like a mark, and try not to get too excited, because I want to come at you guys in a professional manner, even though I am not professional whatsoever. I am the complete opposite of professional, but I want to come at you guys a little bit more down to earth and a little bit more serious, and not come off as a hyped up fanboy. I'm not even gonna lie, I was literally sweating watching that main event last Saturday with Tyler Bate and Walter. But NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff is going to go down as one of the best shows of the year. If you're going to tell me that NXT UK isn't a brand for everyone, it's not a brand for the mainstream fans, it's not a brand where everyone can gravitate towards, what the fuck are you smoking? What are you smoking? For those 6 matches inside of 3 hours, are you telling me that those 6 matches did not do anything to excite you or entertain you? I don't get how anyone could sit in their seat or stand up and record themselves on a podcast or a video, or even just simply tweet something on Twitter or post something on Facebook or Instagram and say that this show wasn't good. But yet these are the people that openly praise Monday Night Raw, and they openly praise SmackDown Live, even when they've been jack shit for God knows how long now. The mentality of some people is ridiculous. The mentality that some people have is absolutely fucking ridiculous, especially when it comes to professional wrestling. People nowadays, and I've said this over and over and over again, if you have been following me for the last 2 years, you would know that I always say that the people of today's world have grown to accept mediocrity, and they deem it good. They've grown to lower their standards, and then I see a show like this, and I'm like, why can't WWE produce that all the time? I'm not asking for 5-star classics every single week, because that would be impossible, and that would get boring after a while. I'm not saying produce 5-star classics every single week, but give us something of substance that we can be proud of. Give us something of substance that we can gravitate towards. Give us something that is going to make us say, yeah, we are professional wrestling fans and we are damn proud of it. The main roster is definitely going to have to step up their game. NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff is a standard bearer of what every single WWE pay-per-view and every single WWE show should be like. Everything on that show had something of substance. Everything on that show had something of importance. And even though I did not get some of my predictions right, I don't care. I don't even care. With NXT UK, everyone wins. There's a plan for everyone. Triple H knows exactly what he's doing. Meanwhile, Vince McMahon has been running his company for nearly 3 decades, and he doesn't even know his left hand from his right hand. Vince McMahon does not know when the fans like something, and he doesn't know when the fans doesn't like something. Vince McMahon is a clueless human being living in the 1980s. Vince McMahon does not know what the wrestling fans want in today's day and age. Speaking of Vince McMahon, there were 3 times during that event at NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff in which the crowd was chanting, "Are you watching? Are you watching? Are you watching Vince McMahon?" 3 times. 3 times. Vince McMahon actually tweeted out that he was watching. Do I believe that he was? No. Do I believe that he operates Twitter? No. I don't even think he fucking knows what Twitter is. The main roster needs to wake up. After everything that we've seen at NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff, the main roster needs to wake the fuck up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not know who I am, Well, then you must be living under a rock, because for over 2 years, I have sat in this seat, and I have given you guys the best possible wrestling analytic content in the entire fucking world. I am the one and only DJ Storms, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is the rewind for NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff, which streamed live on the WWE Network this past Saturday on August 31st, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. What a fucking show it was. It was a damn near perfect show. Damn near perfect show. Everything on that show had something that we could sink our teeth into. Every single match, every single moment, every single winner on that show had something that we can invest our time into. And you know something? I am fucking loving where NXT UK is going right now. I have more questions than I do answers right now, but that's a good thing when it comes to NXT and NXT UK. The unpredictability factor with NXT and NXT UK makes it more exciting. It makes it more exciting because no matter where they go with NXT, you can bet that whatever route they choose to go with NXT and NXT UK, you can bet your fucking ass that it is going to be something memorable. That's exactly what we got at Cardiff. The show started off with Travis Banks and Noam Dar. I did not think they were going to start off the show with it, but after what we got, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining whatsoever. This was a very, very good match. Started off very technical, very slow-paced. The main story of the match was Travis Banks' knee. Noam Dar was delivering a lot of shin strikes to Travis Banks, a lot of drop kicks to the knee. Travis Banks was able to fire back. We had Travis Banks going for a slice of heaven, but Noam Dar actually caught him in a knee bar. Dragged him down to the ground. Travis Banks was able to fight out of that. We did have a suicide dive that took Travis Banks through the lower rope and the middle rope and took out Noam Dar. Threw him back in the ring. Travis Banks and Noam Dar, they were trading back and forth. There was a lot of strikes and a lot of kicks in this match. I liked the style that Travis Banks and Noam Dar really paced this match to be. I enjoyed the back and forth between Noam Dar and Travis Banks. After the suicide dive, Travis Banks delivered a huge coup de grace. And when Travis Banks delivers a double foot stomp, that coup de grace, he really sticks it. It looked fucking brutal on Noam Dar. Noam Dar was able to kick out. Noam Dar, towards the end of this match, he tripped up the knee. He hit Travis Banks in the knee as Travis Banks was going for the slice of heaven. And then Noam Dar hit the Nova Roller. Noam Dar gets the win over Travis Banks. I was predicting Travis Banks, but I'm not mad that Noam Dar came out victorious. I don't know where they're going with Noam Dar, nor do I know where they're going with Travis Banks. I really don't know where they're going with them. But this match was a pure example of why I stated that NXT UK needs a mid-card title. It is vital. It is overflowing with talent. And the talent's only going to continue to flourish, and the talent's only going to continue to come into the brand. You need a championship that the guys outside of the main event can fight for. Walter is not losing that title anytime soon, especially after what we saw in the main event. Walter is not losing the title anytime soon. So at this rate, they're going to have to add a mid-card title sooner rather than later. This would have been a perfect mid-card title match. Noam Dar got the win. If Noam Dar or Travis Banks end up being the first NXT UK mid-card champion, whatever they decide to name it, I wouldn't mind it whatsoever. But again, I don't know where they're going with Travis Banks. I don't know where they're going with Noam Dar. Noam Dar got the win. Good for Noam Dar. He looked great in this match. Travis Banks looked great in this match as well. Very good opener. I don't really have many complaints. The only complaint that I have is the fact that Noam Dar and Travis Banks are huge question marks right now. We don't know where they're going. We don't know what they're going to do. We don't know what the management staff in NXT UK is going to decide to do with them. That's why I said you need a mid-card title for the guys like Noam Dar, Travis Banks, Joe Coffey, Ilya Dragunov, Kenny Williams, Joseph Connors, among many others. Ligero, Ashton Smith, Eddie Dennis. You know what I mean. But a very good opener. Very good opener. And Noam Dar gets the win. I was expecting Travis Banks, but I have no problem with it because I am a fan of Noam Dar. Noam Dar gets the win over Travis Banks in a very, very good match. Cesaro. He was backstage with Radzi. He was being interviewed, and Cesaro was saying he doesn't care who accepts his open challenge. He just wants a fight. Ilya Dragunov, he was walking by, and he walked to the ring. He took the microphone, and he stated, Ilya Dragunov is here. Cesaro, I'm waiting. I was expecting Pete Dunne, but I have no problem with Ilya Dragunov, especially after the match that we got. First off, Cesaro is treated like a fucking European god. He is fucking over. And after the match that we got, it really makes me wonder why WWE didn't capitalize on Cesaro when he was really at his peak in 2015 and 2016 as a singles competitor. Especially after that match with Ilya Dragunov. This was one of the most hard-hitting matches in WWE all year. I said that before the main event, and then the main event just blew this match out of the water. This match went about 15 minutes, I would say. And Ilya Dragunov and Cesaro, it was very hard-hitting, it was very innovative, and it's just a testament to how good Cesaro really is. He brought Ilya Dragunov, a relatively unknown Russian wrestler, to about 85 to 90% of the WWE audience, whether you watch NXT or you watch NXT UK or not. Ilya Dragunov is a relatively unknown wrestler to the mainstream WWE audience. He just had a star fucking making performance with Cesaro. So much so that this match elicited an "Are you watching Vince McMahon" chant. Ilya Dragunov. Think about that. Ilya Dragunov. Who the fuck is Ilya Dragunov? Now, he's a great wrestler. Don't get me wrong. I've seen his work on NXT UK because I watch it religiously every single week. He's a great wrestler, but outside of that one match with Cassius Ohno, he hasn't really done much. This match blew the Cassius Ohno match out of the water. This match was fantastic. We had almost everything that you could possibly imagine in this match. For a 15-minute match, this was fucking great. We had Cesaro swinging Ilya Dragunov around 40 times. I think that's the first time we've ever seen a 40-second swing in WWE by Cesaro. There was one match on the independent scene. I think it might have been Ring of Honor. It might have been Ring of Honor when Cesaro was in Ring of Honor. He swung a man 100 times. Now, obviously, he wasn't going to do 100 times here, because obviously WWE would get a little apprehensive about that, because WWE is scared of everything when it comes to their professional wrestlers. But regardless, 40 times, 40 swings. I don't know about you, but I would say that Ilya Dragunov is going to be feeling a little bit queasy for the next couple days. I'm surprised he wasn't feeling too queasy after the 40 swings. I'm surprised he actually continued for as long as he continued in the match. Ilya Dragunov, he fought back. He hit the 6-1 line that he does. He hit the fake-out left hook clothesline. Suicide dive. Threw Cesaro back into the ring. Cesaro was draped over the bottom rope. Ilya Dragunov climbed up to the top and did a coast-to-coast. A coast-to-coast to Cesaro. Fucking beautiful. Cesaro was able to kick out. Cesaro then was able to counter Ilya Dragunov, and he hoisted him up in a military press, dropped him into a knee. He dropped him from a military press into a GTS, and then followed up with a D-cleaning uppercut, Oni Lorcan style, and Ilya Dragunov was able to kick out. At this point, the "Are you watching Vince McMahon" chants are ringing out. Ilya Dragunov, down the home stretch, hit a huge diving senton, Akira Tozawa-like senton. Ilya Dragunov's feeling it. Ilya Dragunov goes to the corner for the On Besing bar, which is, I believe, invincible in Russian. So he was doing the On Besing bar, and he was going for the Torpedo Moscow, the running headbutt. But Cesaro popped him up into the uppercut, hit the neutralizer. Cesaro gets the win. I was actually shocked at this because I didn't think that Cesaro was going to get the win over Ilya Dragunov. I actually thought that Ilya Dragunov was going to get this win, and they were possibly going to push Ilya Dragunov to a United Kingdom Championship match down the line. I don't really know where Ilya Dragunov's going right now, but if this means that Cesaro is going to be a staple in NXT UK, my God, I am all for it. My God. I don't understand why Cesaro wasn't being used like this for the majority of his singles run in the WWE. I really don't know. How Cesaro only has a United States Championship reign as a singles title reign under his belt is beyond me. How you can only give this man a couple of tag team title reigns and one United States Championship reign is beyond me. The talent that Cesaro possesses is absolutely fucking limitless. No pun intended toward Keith Lee, but it's limitless. It's absolutely limitless. Especially after that match. He led Ilya Dragunov to his best match to date in NXT UK thus far. He elicited an "Are you watching Vince McMahon" chant, and you know something? That's poetic justice based on what Vince McMahon said on the Stone Cold podcast back in 2014. Cesaro doesn't connect. Cesaro doesn't connect. Really? Really? Go watch that match with a relatively unknown Russian and then tell me he doesn't connect. Tell me that Ilya Dragunov doesn't connect after that fucking match. Star-making performance, even in defeat by Ilya Dragunov. I do not know where he's going, but if Cesaro's going to be a staple in NXT UK, yes please, Mr. Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Afterwards, it looked like Cesaro was going to attack Ilya Dragunov, but he didn't. Shook his hand, gave him a hug, he put up the NXT sign, and then he left. Great performance for Ilya Dragunov. Great performance for Cesaro. If they want to have Cesaro in NXT UK permanently, he could be the one to take the title off of Walter. He really could. I wouldn't mind that at all. Cesaro and Walter, after what we got with Walter and Bate in the main event, I wouldn't mind Cesaro and Walter whatsoever. Cesaro and Walter, now that match right there, that match is a match that everyone needs to watch out for. Triple threat match for the NXT UK Tag Team titles. The Grizzled Young Veterans defending against Mark Coffey and Wolfgang of Gallus. And then the hometown boys, Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. They came out wearing the Cardiff Whale colors. Gallus came out mostly wearing black. And then the Grizzled Young Veterans had new gear. They had their red gear. And I really don't even know where to start with this match. I really don't know where to start with this match. This match, I'm telling you right now, this match could very well go down as one of the best tag team matches of the year and probably the best tag team match in all of WWE in 2019. I think it really helped because Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster were from Cardiff, Wales, so it definitely helped. It added a lot more drama to the match, and there were a lot of near falls in this match where I really thought that it would have been it. I really thought it would have been it. They did a fucking phenomenal job with this match in every sense of the word. I have absolutely zero complaints about this match. I have zero. I don't even know how anyone could look at that match and say they were not impressed by that match and they did not enjoy that match. This triple threat match showed you exactly why tag team wrestling is by far one of the best forms of wrestling in professional wrestling today. Tag team wrestling is sacred, tag team wrestling is special, and this is what the main roster needs. This is exactly what the main roster needs. After what these three teams did, how could you not want that on the main roster? I don't understand how Vince McMahon, and this was another match that elicited the "Are you watching, are you watching, are you watching" Vince McMahon chant. I don't understand how anyone in the WWE, in the management staff, as executive directors, as the board of directors, as the COO Vince McMahon himself, I do not understand how anyone on the main roster management team could not want what we saw at NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff in their tag team division on the main roster on Raw and SmackDown. I don't understand. The Grizzled Young Veterans are, without a doubt, they are shaping up to be one of the best tag teams in the world. I don't think I've ever seen a tag team that has just come together on a whim, so to speak, even though Zach Gibson has said he's known this man for 10 years. And then they pair them together. They don't really look like a tag team, but when they're in the ring, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, it's like they've been doing this their entire life, since they came out of the womb. It's like they've been a tag team since birth. Grizzled Young Veterans have held the tag team titles since the first ever TakeOver at Blackpool in January. They held the titles for 231 days, and I said this before, that the winners of this match could really swing either way. We had a lot of high spots in this match. We had the Grizzled Young Veterans wearing down Mark Andrews for the majority of this match. We had Flash Morgan Webster make the tag. Webster and Andrews were taking out both teams. Tope Con Heroes to Gallus. Tope Con Heroes to the Grizzled Young Veterans. There was one move where Wolfgang was taking out both men of the team of Webster and Andrews had Wolfgang in an electric chair position. Mark Andrews was on top of Wolfgang in an electric chair position, and Flash Morgan Webster hit the V-trigger knee. Andrews then hit the reverse Rana, and I swear to God, Wolfgang sold it as if he was fucking killed. Wolfgang sold this move right on the top of his head, and he penciled. He was stuck up straight in the air like a fucking pencil. I swear there is no way that anyone in professional wrestling can make a reverse Rana look safe. It is just too fucking dangerous. I cringe and I hold my breath. My heart skips a beat every single time a reverse Rana is delivered, no matter who it's by or who is receiving it. It is so fucking dangerous, and it could go so fucking wrong if done wrong. That was fucking crazy in its own right. We had Gallus take out the other two teams, and Gallus then had Webster and Andrews in the ring. They hit their tag team move, the Enziguri to the back, and then the power slam. Webster was held down by Wolfgang as Mark Coffey pinned Mark Andrews, and Webster was able to fight out and break up the pinfall. Webster, I believe, took out both men, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was either Webster that took out both men, or maybe the Grizzled Young Veterans came back in. But either way, Gallus was taken out. And then we had the Grizzled Young Veterans back in the ring. They hit their combination offense. We had the grit your teeth dropkick in the corner, the helter skelter. Down goes Andrews, the beautiful fucking 450 by James Drake. He has a great looking 450. And Mark Andrews was able to kick out. The crowd was fucking lighting up. Everyone was fucking lighting up. We had Mark Andrews hit the double stun dog millionaire. This was down the home stretch here. Webster hit the 630. He hit the 630 on James Drake. 1, 2. Gibson pulls the ref out. And then Mark Andrews goes to attack Zach Gibson. And Gibson double throat chops Mark Andrews. Back in the ring, Mark Andrews is down. Mark Andrews is down on the outside. Back in the ring, Zach Gibson and James Drake hit the Ticket to Mayhem. The Ticket to Mayhem aided Codebreaker. Zach Gibson's like, go, do the suicide dive through the ropes. And James Drake does a suicide dive through the ropes, and he takes out Wolfgang and Mark Coffey of Gallus. Zach Gibson pins Flash Morgan Webster. Now there was, I thought that was it. After they hit Ticket to Mayhem, I thought that was it. I also thought that was it when Webster and Andrews hit that combination Stun Dog Millionaire, and then the 630. I thought that was it. I thought they won the titles. Then I thought the Grizzled Young Veterans retained the titles after the Ticket to Mayhem. Zach Gibson pins Flash Morgan Webster out of nowhere. Mark Andrews comes off the top rope with the fall to pieces shooting star press, puts Webster on top of Zach Gibson. The hometown boys do good. Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews, they are the new NXT UK Tag Team Champions. Now, why is this happening? It's quite simple. Obviously, they did it for the hometown pop, but at the end of the day, that is the least important thing of this entire picture. First off, it was one of the best tag team matches of the year. Damn near close to a 5-star classic. Damn near close. The Grizzled Young Veterans have had a great reign with the titles. They've held it for 231 days. They have done all that they could with the titles. It was time for a new team. And here's why it was time for a new team. Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster are the perfect transitional champions. The Grizzled Young Veterans have gone as far as they can go. They're probably going to get their rematch against Webster and Andrews, and then, after that, they're going to NXT US. They need tag teams over there. They need tag teams in NXT US. And remember, the report that came out that NXT UK and their stars there are going to be big staples on NXT US when NXT moves to USA Network. The Grizzled Young Veterans could very well be the next NXT UK superstars to gravitate over to NXT US. And they're going to be put in the tag team division in NXT US, facing guys like Breezango and the Street Profits, Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. Plenty more. Webster and Andrews, they are the perfect transitional champions. We could very well see another NXT UK TakeOver this year. Maybe in December. Maybe we see NXT UK TakeOver Glasgow in December. And in December, I think that sometime this year, sometime before the end of the year, or maybe next year, but sometime this year, I believe that the team of Eichner and Bartel of Imperium is going to be the ones to take the titles off of Webster and Andrews. Webster and Andrews are great baby faces, and I think that they are going to be great transitional champions for Imperium. Now, why Imperium? Simple. Imperium is going to defeat Webster and Andrews. Imperium is going to hold all the gold. They could very well institute a mid-card title and have Alexander Wolf be the first champion. That way, all the members of Imperium have gold. When Imperium wins the titles next year in 2020, it's only going to make it even more special when Mustache Mountain finally wins the titles. That is why WWE did not pull the trigger on Mustache Mountain winning the titles from the Grizzled Young Veterans, because they wanted to wait for the right time. They have Imperium. Imperium right now is a top heel stable on NXT UK. Imperium, as we speak, is the undisputed era of NXT UK. Imperium right now is going to be NXT UK Tag Team Champions at least by the beginning of 2020. And maybe at least by the end of the year, who knows. But Imperium will be NXT UK Tag Team Champions, and then they are going to be the ones that Mustache Mountain, Tyler Bate, and Trent Seven eventually defeat to become NXT UK Tag Team Champions. Right now, it all starts with Webster and Andrews. They got their hometown win. They're going to have a nice, decent run, and they're going to drop it to Imperium. Eichner and Bartel are going to be champions at least before the end of the year. Fantastic match. I was saying that this was the match of the night, and then we saw the main event. Again, you'll see why when I talk about the main event later on. But congratulations to Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews. The Grizzled Young Veterans, they're going to NXT US. Imperium will be the next NXT UK Tag Team Champions. Last man standing match between Joe Coffey and Dave Mastiff. This was very hard-hitting. This was brutal in every sense of the word. We had a lot of weapons. We actually had a pool cue be used in this match. Joe Coffey actually broke a pool cue, a pool stick, right over the back of Mastiff. Literally 2 minutes into this match, Dave Mastiff whipped Joe Coffey so hard into the corner that the top rope actually bursted out. Top rope bursted out. This was a damn good last man standing match. After that, we had Joe Coffey driving Dave Mastiff through one table, and then Dave Mastiff hit into the void. He hit into the void through another table, but both men were able to get up on their feet. Both men go over the barricade. Dave Mastiff has 2 chairs. He's like, here, take a chair. Take a chair, Joe. Joe Coffey is in the middle of the crowd, as well as Dave Mastiff. Joe Coffey goes, I don't know, like 50, 60 feet away from Mastiff, and they both run at each other with steel chairs as if they're fucking gladiators. And they crash together head on with the chairs. Both men are down. They make their way over to the announce table area. And Nigel McGuinness and Vic Joseph, they are trying to get away. They rip apart the announce table And Dave Mastiff does a rolling senton to Joe Coffey on the announce table, but the announce table didn't break. Then they go up behind the announce table and behind the NXT UK backdrop. The crowd's chanting, "Please don't die, please don't die." We then had Joe Coffey and Dave Mastiff exchanging punch after punch. Joe Coffey's grabbing the beard of Dave Mastiff, and he says, "This is my kingdom." Dave Mastiff headbutts Joe Coffey, and they both fall off through the tables down below. Both men are struggling to get up. Dave Mastiff is almost up. Joe Coffey's already up. Joe Coffey kicks Dave Mastiff. I believe he either kicked Dave Mastiff or he either kicked the production crate that Dave Mastiff was trying to hoist himself up on, and Dave Mastiff falls to the ground. The ref counts 10. Joe Coffey wins the last man standing match. This actually shocked me. I picked Dave Mastiff to win this last man standing match, and I have a theory as to why Joe Coffey won this match. I have a theory. Joe Coffey, he's good at what he does, but as of lately, Joe Coffey hasn't exactly been looked upon as a credible superstar, if you know what I mean. He's essentially been used to put people over. And I feel as though Triple H wanted to give Joe Coffey a legitimate win to keep him valid as a competitor and keep him relevant. He gave him the win over Dave Mastiff. And don't get me wrong, Dave Mastiff, he has never been pinned, he's never been submitted. Remember, he was kicked out, his momentum was kicked out from underneath him, literally, when Joe Coffey kicked the crate and kicked him, and Dave Mastiff fell down. That was a smart, sneaky win by Joe Coffey. Plays up to his character. He uses his head. He is a smart wrestler. Joe Coffey's not only a vicious and brutal wrestler, he not only can clothesline your fucking head off, he is a smart wrestler, so it plays up to his character. I don't even mind that Joe Coffey got the win. This feud isn't over. Dave Mastiff more than likely is going to get his revenge on Joe Coffey. Remember, Dave Mastiff's never been pinned, he's never been submitted. Dave Mastiff is going to get his revenge on Joe Coffey sometime in the future. They gave the win to Joe Coffey, and they played up to his smarts. They played up to Joe Coffey's smart character, and they gave him the win to keep him legit and valid. Joe Coffey's very good at what he does, but you can't just have him lose and lose and lose every time. He's going to be looked upon as a glorified jobber. I was expecting Mastiff, but I don't mind. I really don't mind. I don't mind at all. Dave Mastiff, more likely than not, is going to get another shot at Joe Coffey down the line. I don't know when that is, but when it does happen, I have a feeling Dave Mastiff is eventually going to win the feud. This feud is far from over, not after what happened at TakeOver. Not after what happened at TakeOver. They're not just going to give Joe Coffey the win like that. But it was a damn good last man standing match, and I don't even mind that Joe Coffey won. Played up to his smarts. Very good, and both men are definitely going to be feeling sore for the next week. Toni Storm versus Kay Ray for the NXT UK Women's Championship. I was searching through social media and I saw some people say it was kind of lackluster. Lackluster? I mean lackluster. Yeah, the crowd wasn't that into it, but you try following 4 great matches, one after the other, after the other, after the other. After those 4 matches, back to back to back to back, obviously, you know one match was eventually going to come about and be the calm down match. And obviously, Kay Ray and Toni Storm was that match. It was still a good match, though. Don't get me wrong, it was good. It wasn't the best. It wasn't all that spectacular, but it was still a good match. It was definitely better than the majority of shit that we've seen on the main roster. Yeah, it may have gone short and may have not lived up to everyone's expectations, but it wasn't lackluster. It wasn't bad. The crowd was just out of it because of the fact that 4 great matches went on all in a row. So obviously one match was bound to be the calm down match, especially before the main event between Walter and Tyler Bate. And after what we got there, my fucking God. My fucking God. But it was good for what it was. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was lackluster. I'd be lying if I told you it was lackluster. Both of these women did a very good job with the time that they were given. They did a very good job with the somewhat dead crowd. The crowd, for the most part, was very good throughout the entire show. So, don't blame the crowd entirely, because after a while, obviously you're going to get tired out a bit. But Kaylee Ray and Toni Storm, they did a good job. Wasn't the best, wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't lackluster. It was good for what it was. It was just good. And that's all I can ask for. It was a good women's match. Better than the majority of shit that we've seen. It was definitely better than Mia Yim and Shayna Baszler from NXT TakeOver. That's for sure. Kaylee Ray was on the defense at the start of this match when Toni Storm was doing a suicide dive right through the ropes, and she just attacked Kaylee Ray right out of the gate. Kaylee Ray and Toni Storm went back and forth in the ring. We actually had Toni Storm hitting the Storm Zero. Kaylee Ray kicked out. We had Kaylee Ray hit the Gory Bomb special, but Toni Storm kicked out of that. Toni Storm fired back against Kaylee Ray. Kaylee Ray was sent to the outside. Toni Storm did the suicide dive. Kaylee Ray then hit Toni Storm with the knee when Toni Storm was trying to get back into the ring. And then Kaylee Ray walked up the rope in the corner and did a cannonball plancha to the outside. Almost landed on her head. But I've never seen Kaylee Ray do that before. Kaylee Ray did a cannonball plancha taking out Toni Storm. Back in the ring, she does the Gory Bomb, draping Toni Storm over the top rope. Toni's head jerked back. Then we got a third Gory Bomb special, and Kaylee Ray wins the NXT UK Women's Championship. Good match. I would say it was better than Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm from TakeOver Blackpool. It wasn't the best match. It was probably the weakest match of TakeOver, but it was still a good match. Again, definitely better than what we've been seeing on the main roster as far as the women's division goes. Am I surprised that Kaylee Ray won? I'm not. A lot of people were saying, oh, it's a shocker because Toni Storm has been so dominant. Yeah, I understand that. Toni Storm has held the title for 231 days, same time as the Grizzled Young Veterans. I get that it may be a shock to some people, but again, with the report that NXT is going to USA Network, and the report that NXT UK is going to be a major star, or NXT UK are going to feature major stars on NXT US, with Pete Dunne, with Rhea Ripley. That's why I wasn't surprised that the Grizzled Young Veterans lost the titles. I'm not surprised that Toni Storm lost the title either. Toni Storm has gone as far as she can go. I thought they were going to go with Toni Storm and Piper Niven, but after what happened, I had no problem. Give Kaylee Ray a run with it. Give Kaylee Ray a run with it. Let's see what Kaylee Ray has to offer, and more likely than not, Kaylee Ray could end up dropping the title to Tegan Nox. Tegan Nox was actually shown in the crowd. Yes, Tegan Nox was shown in the crowd. I originally thought that they were going to go with Piper Niven, but as far as to take the title off of Kaylee Ray once she won it. But they could very well build up Tegan Nox to do it. They could. They very well could. Unless they do want to go ahead with Piper Niven. They have Piper Niven defeat Kaylee Ray probably at the end of the year, maybe going into 2020. And then after that, then you could build up Tegan Nox versus Piper Niven. Maybe you turn Piper Niven heel down the line. Maybe you just do babyface versus babyface, and it's pretty much the underdog in Tegan Nox versus the big dominant woman in Piper Niven. They could do that, but it was Kaylee Ray's time. It was Kaylee Ray's time. Toni Storm has gone as far as she can go. And I think Toni Storm is going to end up taking the title off of Rhea Ripley after Rhea Ripley takes the title off of Shayna Baszler. We'll have to see what happens. Again, I don't know what's going on with the NXT women's division, considering that Rhea Ripley's now in it, and Dave Meltzer did report that Shayna Baszler's main roster call-up might have been canceled. A lot of things have been going on, so we're going to have to wait and see how it plays out. But it was a good match. Kaylee Ray gets the win. Kaylee Ray is the new NXT UK Women's Champion, and Toni Storm is more likely than not going to NXT US. Main event. Tyler Bate versus Walter for the WWE United Kingdom Championship. At the beginning of the review, I did say I'm having a hard time deciding if TakeOver New York was better or TakeOver Cardiff was better. I'm having a very difficult time deciding which match was better. Was it Gargano and Cole 1? Or was it Tyler Bate and Walter? Some people were saying that it did get topped. Some people, even Tyson was saying, my friend Tyson, shout out to him. Tyson was saying that Bate and Walter actually topped Gargano and Cole. I don't know. I really don't know. I do know for a fact, I know that Dave Meltzer more likely will rate this 5 stars, but I do not know. I really do not know which one was better. It is so hard for me to choose. If I had a gun to my head, I really could not give you a straightforward answer. At this very moment, I really can't give you a straightforward answer as to which one was better. Tyler Bate and Walter, my God. My fucking God. A lot of people looked at Pete Dunne and Walter from NXT TakeOver New York as the best NXT UK match in history. I think Bate and Walter definitely topped that. Bate and Walter definitely topped that. I don't know if it was the best match of the year, but it definitely will rank up there as the greatest matchup in NXT UK history. And to those people saying that, oh, Tyler Bate's not believable because he's too small, you can suck my testicles. You could suck my testicles. After what Tyler Bate did there, Tyler Bate made you fucking believe that he was going to become the United Kingdom champion more than once in that match. The guy fucking picked up Walter 6 times. He lifted Walter off of the ground 6 times in that match. Maybe even more. I'm probably gonna go back and rewatch that match, but my fucking God, if you can pick up a guy 6 times when you are 190 pounds and you're picking up a 300-pound Walter 6 times in a 40-minute match, how is that not believable? How is that not believable? How is it not believable that Tyler Bate just put on a fucking classic with a guy that's 5 times his size? You're going to tell me that's not believable after the match that you just saw? There's probably going to be some fucking idiot out there that's going to say, oh, it was overbooked. It was way too many kickouts. Oh, it was overbooked. Oh, it was too long. Too long. Overbooked. Too many kickouts. What the fuck do you want? This is professional wrestling. What do you want? A fucking 10-minute match with minimal kickouts and no excitement whatsoever? There was excitement in that match. The kickouts make it more exciting. How is it overbooked? This isn't Gargano Cole 3. That was overbooked, no matter how much I enjoyed the match. That was overbooked. This wasn't overbooked. Straight up, one-on-one wrestling. There wasn't any interference. There wasn't any stipulations. There wasn't any injury angles. Straight up forward, one-on-one wrestling between Tyler Bate and Walter. How the fuck was it overbooked? What, just because there were a lot of kickouts? What the fuck do you want? What is your idea of a good match? These are the same type of people that's going to say that Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar from WrestleMania 34 was the greatest match of 2018. These are the same types of people that's going to say that The Undertaker and Goldberg was the greatest match of the last fucking decade. If anyone is going to tell you that this match was too long, or it was overbooked, or there was too many kickouts, you simply do this to them. You tell them to go fuck themselves. This match was fantastic. It was spectacular in every sense of the word. I honestly do not know what to say about this match. The fact that, again, Tyler Bate picking up Walter 6 fucking times in this match as a whole, that's impressive in its own right. That's impressive in its own right. The crowd was hot for Tyler Bate. They were doing the Tyler Bate song. Walter obviously was made into a better heel because Tyler Bate is just that good of a babyface. We had, I believe, Tyler Bate get powerbombed on the apron and then into the post, near the beginning of this match. Walter was wearing down Tyler Bate for the majority of this match. We did have Tyler Bate picking up Walter a couple times for a German suplex. We had an exploder suplex to the floor by Tyler Bate to Walter. We had an exploder suplex off the top rope by Tyler Bate to Walter. Tyler Bate and Walter went back and forth. We actually had Walter on the receiving end of the Tyler Driver. He was on the receiving end of the Tyler Driver. He picked him up perfectly for the Tyler Driver. Walter kicked out. Bate then went up to the top rope, hit the spiral tap. Walter, he finally got back in control. And by the way, he was chopping the shit out of Tyler. I think there was about at least 13 to 15 chops from Walter delivered to Tyler Bate. Walter, without a shadow of a doubt, has the most deadliest chops in the history of the game thus far. I don't think I've ever seen anyone with the amount of force put into a chop as Walter. Walter ended up hitting the splash, the same splash that he hit at Pete Dunne to win the title. Tyler Bate was able to kick out. Walter then pinned Tyler Bate after a powerbomb. Tyler Bate kicked out at 1. Tyler Bate kicked out at 1. The crowd is going crazy, and I loved this ending because it just shows you how good of a heel Walter is. The crowd's going crazy chanting Tyler Bate, doing his song. Walter is trying to chop down Tyler Bate. The crowd's still singing his song. And then after the crowd finishes the song, Walter just clonks Tyler Bate with the clothesline, turns him inside out, pins him, and retains the WWE United Kingdom Championship. Walter's best match in WWE to date. The greatest matchup in NXT UK history. I don't know if it was better than Gargano Cole 1. My brain is absolutely fried. It's like one side of my brain is saying Gargano and Cole, and the other side is saying Tyler Bate and Walter. I am like at war with myself trying to decide which match was better. Tyler Bate proved that he is a main event guy, and one day he's going to be WWE champion. The guy is too good not to be a WWE champion. The guy is virtually the UK version of Daniel Bryan. The guy is the UK version of Daniel Bryan. There is nobody on the roster that just screams babyface in the UK other than Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate is the everyday common man. Tyler Bate is the biggest babyface in NXT UK right now. You cannot let the opportunity pass you by with Tyler Bate. Afterwards, we had the rest of British Strong Style, Pete Dunne and Trent Seven come out, and they did their little Mustache Mountain hand gesture. They hugged afterwards. Tyler Bate, he's going to be a star on the main roster. And Trent Seven and Tyler Bate, they're going to be NXT UK Tag Team Champions soon. It's going to be next year, and it's going to be at the hands of Imperium. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of The Rewind. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. A couple of things. Follow me on Instagram at TheDJStorms. Follow me on Twitter at Man of Charisma. I want you guys to keep your eye out tomorrow for The Rewind for AEW All Out. I will post that tomorrow. Wednesday, I start classes. I'm going to keep you guys up to date as to what's going on as far as the upload scheduling goes. When SmackDown eventually moves to Fox on Friday, I think I'm probably going to have to move the Lightning Flash update from Friday to Saturday if I have the time to get it up. I'm going to keep you guys updated on that. So bear with me. I do have 6 classes that I'm going to be occupied with for the next 4 months, but I will keep you guys posted. Obviously, I'll see if I can get my pay-per-view rundowns up as well. I will run you guys up to speed on everything. I may have to move the Lightning Flash update to Sunday. Perhaps. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms. This has been The Rewind. I will catch you guys for Monday Night Raw tonight, and then The Rewind for All Out is tomorrow. I hope you guys have a great Monday.